and my other brother was more down with the funk. And so I would steal Earth, Wind & Fire, Ohio Players, and these kind of things from this brother, my older.
When Jason Newsted abruptly quit Metallica in January 2001, fans were shocked and confused. The official statement cited private and personal reasons, and the physical damage I have done to myself over the years while playing the music that I love. But behind this carefully worded press release lay a far more complex and painful truth. A standoff between Newsted and his bandmates over a side project called Echobrain that would forever change the course of one of metal's greatest bands. Today, we're revealing what really happened during this pivotal moment in rock history, and how Lars Ulrich himself has reflected on this painful chapter that nearly destroyed Metallica. Living in Cliff's shadow, the foundation of tension. To truly understand the Echobrain standoff, we need to go back to the beginning of Jason Newsted's journey with Metallica. When Newsted joined the band in 1986, he wasn't just taking on the role of bassist, he was stepping into the shoes of a legend. Cliff Burton's tragic death in a bus accident on September 27, 1986, had left an unfillable void in the band, and Newsted was tasked with the impossible, replacing the irreplaceable. From the start, Newsted faced an uphill battle. Despite his talent and dedication, he was often treated as an outsider, subjected to hazing, and never fully accepted as Burton's successor. The band's grief over losing Cliff manifested in ways that directly impacted Newsted's position and treatment. "I've always felt that I was the replacement," Newsted would later reflect. "No matter how hard I worked, Cliff was a legend, and those shoes couldn't be filled by anyone. They made sure I felt that too." Perhaps the most notorious example of Newsted's second-class status came with the production of the And Justice for All album in 1988. In what many fans consider one of metal's greatest injustices, Newsted's bass lines were mixed down to near inaudibility on the final record. While the band has offered various technical explanations for this decision over the years, the message to Newsted was clear: he wasn't Cliff. Lars Ulrich would later admit that grief played a role in this treatment, saying, "We were probably still mourning Cliff, and we weren't in the right mental state. Jason became the victim of that." This early dynamic established a pattern that would continue throughout Newsted's tenure with the band. He was a member, but never quite an equal. Despite these challenges, Newsted remained fiercely loyal to Metallica for years, channeling his creative energy into the band and suppressing his own musical ambitions for the greater good. But this uneasy balance couldn't last forever. The birth of Echobrain, a creative outlet, becomes a threat. By the late 1990s, after more than a decade with Metallica, Jason Newsted was feeling increasingly stifled creatively. While Metallica had achieved unprecedented success, becoming one of the biggest bands in the world, the rigid creative hierarchy within the group, dominated by James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich, left little room for Newsted's own musical ideas. Seeking an outlet for his creativity that didn't fit within Metallica's framework, Newsted began collaborating with guitarist Dylan Donkin and drummer Brian Sagrafena in a project that would eventually become Echobrain. This wasn't just a casual jam session. It was a serious musical endeavor that showcased a different side of Newsted's talents, featuring more melodic, progressive elements than Metallica's thrash metal sound. "Echobrain was something that I had," Newsted explained about the project. "It was music that came from me that didn't fit in Metallica. It was a way to express myself in a way that I couldn't within Metallica." Initially, Newsted's bandmates seemed supportive, or at least not openly opposed to his side project. He even invited James Hetfield to hear some of Echobrain's material, hoping for his blessing. But as the project developed and began to attract industry attention, attitudes within the Metallica camp quickly changed. The turning point came when Echobrain caught the ear of Metallica's then-label president, who expressed interest in signing the band. Suddenly, what had been viewed as a harmless hobby was perceived as a potential competitor to Metallica itself. This triggered deep-seated insecurities within the band, particularly for James Hetfield, who had always maintained a strict family-first policy when it came to Metallica. Hetfield's philosophy was clear and unyielding. Metallica was not just a band, but a brotherhood, and any outside projects that diverted energy or attention from this brotherhood were seen as a form of betrayal. This mindset, while perhaps understandable given the band's intense history and bond, created an impossible situation for Newsted, who was simply seeking a creative outlet, not a replacement for his day job. The ultimatum: Metallica or Echobrain. The simmering tension over Echobrain finally boiled over in a band meeting that would change everything. With management present, James Hetfield delivered what amounted to an ultimatum to Newsted. Choose between Echobrain and Metallica. James said literally, "The management and I are in agreement that this project of yours is damaging Metallica," Newsted later revealed in an interview with Scuzz TV. He said that if I continued with Echobrain, it would be the end of me with Metallica. He said he wanted to protect Metallica. In a 2001 Playboy interview shortly after his departure, Newsted further explained the impossible choice he faced. "It came down to this. I had to choose. I couldn't do Echobrain and be in Metallica. The message was, you do Echobrain and you're not in Metallica, or you don't do it and you are in Metallica." For Newsted, this ultimatum represented the culmination of years of feeling creatively stifled and undervalued. After 15 years of dedication to Metallica, being told he couldn't have his own creative outlet alongside the band felt like the final insult. It was, as he put it, the straw that broke the camel's back. What made the situation even more painful for Newsted was that he had hoped Metallica's management company, Q Prime, would support Echobrain and find a way for both projects to coexist. Instead, they sided with Hetfield and Ulrich, leaving Newsted feeling betrayed on multiple fronts. "I never thought it would go that way," Newsted said. "I thought they would say, 'Cool, go for it, man.' But it was the opposite. Faced with an impossible choice and feeling that his years of loyalty had earned him nothing but an ultimatum, Newsted made the difficult decision to leave Metallica, shocking fans worldwide and setting the band on a tumultuous path that would nearly lead to its dissolution. Lars Ulrich's perspective: we felt betrayed. While James Hetfield was the one who delivered the ultimatum, Lars Ulrich played a significant role in the Echobrain standoff. As Metallica's co-founder and a driving force behind many of the band's business and creative decisions, Ulrich's perspective on Newsted's side project was crucial to how the situation unfolded. Though not documented exactly how Lars first learned about the full extent of Echobrain's ambitions, it's likely that as Newsted's project gained momentum and industry attention, Ulrich became increasingly concerned about its potential impact on Metallica. For Lars, who had built Metallica from the ground up and guided it to become one of the biggest bands in the world, anything that threatened the band's unity or focus was viewed with suspicion. When confronted with Newsted's desire to pursue Echobrain alongside Metallica, Ulrich reportedly felt a sense of betrayal. From his perspective, Newsted was putting his heart and soul into something other than Metallica, which went against the band's ethos of total commitment. Wait a minute, you're putting your heart and soul into something else? While Metallica is here? After everything we've built? This sentiment, while not a direct quote about Echobrain, captures the feeling of betrayal that Ulrich and Hetfield experienced when faced with Newsted's growing commitment to his side project. For Ulrich, Metallica wasn't just a band. It was a life's work, an all-consuming commitment that demanded complete loyalty. The idea that Newsted could divide his creative energy between Metallica and another project seemed to undermine this fundamental principle, triggering a defensive reaction that contributed to the ultimatum that drove Newsted away. The aftermath: regrets and realizations. The departure of Jason Newsted sent Metallica into one of the darkest periods in its history. The band, already struggling with internal tensions and substance abuse issues, nearly collapsed under the weight of Newsted's exit. James Hetfield soon entered rehab, and the recording of their next album, Saint, Anger, became a painful process documented in the revealing film, Some Kind of Monster. During this tumultuous period, Lars Ulrich was forced to confront some uncomfortable truths about the band's treatment of Newsted and the rigid control that had driven him away. The therapy sessions with Phil Towley, captured in Some Kind of Monster, exposed the deep dysfunction within Metallica, including the control issues that had made Newsted's position untenable. There is this fucking resentment over creative control. Fucking who's in charge of what? Ulrich admitted during one therapy session, revealing the core issue that had plagued Newsted's relationship with the band. As years passed, both Ulrich and Hetfield gained perspective on the Echobrain standoff and their treatment of Newsted. While never explicitly apologizing for the ultimatum, they have acknowledged that they could have handled the situation differently. Looking back, yes, maybe we could have been more open, Hetfield later reflected in a fan club interview. But at that moment in our lives, and where the band stood, we couldn't do that. Meanwhile, Newsted moved on with his life and career. Echobrain released their debut album in 2002 to mixed reviews, but Newsted remained proud of the project. He later joined Voivod and played bass for Ozzy Osbourne during Ozfest 2003, eventually starting his own project simply called Newsted. "I've never regretted leaving Metallica. Never," Newsted stated in a SiriusXM interview years later. "It was the right thing for everyone. Time has healed some wounds," with Newsted reuniting with Metallica for their Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction in 2009 and their 30th anniversary concerts in 2009-2011. These moments of reconciliation suggest that while the Echobrain standoff caused immense pain, the respect and history shared between these musicians has endured. What do you think about this pivotal moment in Metallica's history? Was James Hetfield's ultimatum justified, or should Newsted have been allowed to pursue Echobrain alongside his Metallica duties? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video fascinating, please hit the like button and subscribe for more revelations about music's greatest bands and their behind-the-scenes dramas. And don't forget to check out our other videos about the secrets behind your favorite rock legends.